Voices from the Mausoleum is brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network and yourunpodcast.com. And a very special thank you to our Patreon subscribers.
Hey fam, Newman here from Movies for Days, your non-pretentious easy access movie chat podcast and weekly deep dive into any film from any genre, from any decade with anybody's guess as to how we chose that movie that week. Proud member of the You Run Podcast Network. Check us out where all great podcasts can be heard, and on Twitter at Movies Days. Movies is spelled regular, Days is spelled with a Z.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Remakes. Angel is still out on leave, and so you got me again. But by the time this comes out, I'm sure she'll be close to heading back.
Yeah, I think we need to change the intro and replace Angel's face with yours now. She's been gone too long.
That's it. I've made my claim.
Yeah, Remakes is now yours.
Man, not to say I'm not as knowledgeable of the remakes. I feel, I'm always so amazed by how much content out there, how much content there is out there that you guys cover between the remake show, but then also when she does found footage. I'm like, man, there really is like a lot within these topics, and I'm like, man, you don't even remakes you don't even realize are remakes.
There are so many remakes that people don't realize are remakes, and they're the ones that I tend to bring up when people go, every remake's bad, and then you go, have you seen The Fly? And they go, that is a remake. And then you go, how about The Thing? Because that's a remake too.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden people who have this hatred for remakes start to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Because remakes have a place, and it's something me and Angel have always advocated for, that even a bad remake will bring attention to the original that may have been better. I'd done something on TikTok recently. I had someone who went, there's nothing good about any remake ever. People don't even go and watch the original because of it. So I used Google Trends, where you can type in, I used Nightmare on Elm Street. So I typed in Nightmare on Elm Street 1984.
Yeah.
And then you can see when people have searched that on Google. And in 2010, it just takes this massive spike. So I done a TikTok where I just showed that graphic going, yep, remakes have an impact. That's it.
Yeah. Just by virtue of Googling the remake itself, the original is going to come up.
Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, remakes, even bad ones, have a place. Today's isn't a bad one.
No. Oh no, this is a fun one.
Yeah.
13 Ghosts is it's a blast of a movie. It is such a cool concept. So it's kind of similar to when we talked about The Crazies. I did not get a chance to see the original. I will go back and watch it, but the original does not have a plot quite like this, right? No.
I find so Angel's going to be kicking and screaming right now. Angel likes the original of this. I find the original of this an absolute snore fest. It takes forever to get going, and when it does get going, it's underwhelming throughout.
It's a 60s film?
Yeah, I want to say 63, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it just doesn't have anything that keeps me interested. It's one of those that I'll put it on and then I find myself drifting, and then I pick up my phone and then I doom scroll for an hour, and then I go back, there's a ghost now, and then I doom scroll for another 10 minutes. I really dislike the original.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind as I go and watch it. Let's see. So I can actually see if I have to debate you on it. But because 60s horror films can be hit or miss. I mean, you can get like absolute bangers, like Rosemary's Baby, or you can get crap fests.
Yeah. And the 60s was an odd time for horror. I would say probably horror hit its initial peak in the 70s and then boomed in the 80s and the 90s, and then had kind of a lull. And I would say it's starting to boom again now. But the 60s was this odd time where they were sort of trying their hand at horror that was outside of Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
And some of that really, really worked. Other stuff missed by miles. 13 Ghosts, I wouldn't say missed by miles. It was just dull.
Yeah. Yeah, just sort of like not even a slow burn, just a very like,
Just dull. But then I've got
quicker.
I've got some strong opinions on 60s horror. So like Psycho for me is like dull.
What?
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. I understand like how important that is, like Hitchcock's filming style and everything that movie done. I fully get it. Will I go back and watch it over and over again? No,
Mm.
it's boring.
I mean,
Like,
to be fair, I don't throw on Psycho a lot. You know, it's sort of a film that, yeah, I'm not like raring to go every time I sort of watch. Yeah, although Bates Motel is one of my favorite shows of all time.
yeah, yeah, I'll give you that 100%. But yes, Psycho's one of those movies that 100% film students should go and study that
Yeah,
movie. Should I be watching it every year as an annual watch? Probably not, because it doesn't have that oomph to it.
yeah,
But this does. This has got lots of oomph.
yeah. Oh no, 13 Ghosts is a blast. So, general thoughts on the remake?
It's fabulous. I teased at the end of the last episode that I'm a huge fan of Matthew Lillard. This is Matthew Lillard at his most committed to an insane role as I've ever seen him. I would say he commits to this more than he ever committed to the role of Stu Marker. In this, he is okay. So I'm a crazy guy who used to hunt ghosts, and I need to tell people that this is dangerous. Okay, I've got it. And he fully understood the assignment and committed and then overcommitted just to make sure they understood. He's great.
It was a real camp performance, and
Yeah.
so like I don't hate it. It is fun. His performance is very fun. I just gonna say like it's just far. He was not going to be a contender for any awards with this one.
No, no.
But it is a blast. It is sort of like, you could see the zaniness of like where Stu ends up towards the end of the original Scream, but like you said, like takes it and really runs with it to like the nth degree.
Yeah, so he's got the option here. That there's so many different ways he could have played this, and he just played it crazed, basically crazed psychopath. Like the bit where he's going, "Did I say there was fluffy kittens in the basement? No, I did not, did I? I said that." It's like everything he does and says is like you kind of hang on what he's saying because there's
Yeah.
this element of I don't know what you're going to say next because you are so unhinged. And for me, he's the glue that pulls everything together. Like
Yeah.
without that character, none of it really makes sense. Like he ties the past where they were ghost hunting to the future. He ties all of the stories of the ghosts into what's happening. He is the one of the integral parts of this movie.
You know what's funny is the family, the family themselves. They're the bait, They're I forget the rich guy's name, but he brings in his nephew and the kids, and he's going to use them for his plot. But they don't really save the day, right? It's
No,
Matthew Lillard and then the nanny.
yeah.
Like, they're the ones getting things done.
Yeah, and, like, even all the way through, like, even at the beginning where he's ghost hunting, I love that he's reluctantly doing it.
Mhm.
So you got the guy going, "Right, we're gonna do this." He's like, "Oh, no, I don't." He's got that real, "I don't want to do this. I do not like this, but I know I have to do this." And, Matthew Lillard can do no wrong in my eyes. Like, no matter what he turns his hand to, whether it was Five Nights or Freddy's or Scream or SLC Punk or whatever he's done, I fully admire him because he commits wholeheartedly to whatever role he's given.
You can just tell
If
he has fun as a performer.
Yeah, if they say, "Right, we want you to be crazy," he's crazy. If they say, "We want you to be dead serious," he's dead serious. We want you to be the most emotionally broken man with a hint of insanity. He just brings it every single time.
Yeah.
And for this movie, he's one of the only cast members who brings that level. Like I find like the dad or he's the nephew, isn't he? But he's the dad of the family.
Mhm.
His performance is really dry.
That's
And
Tony Shalhoub, though.
it is.
That's just
But
how he is.
but yeah, this movie's great. But where are you with this?
I, it's a blast. I think from the art direction for this movie is just stellar, better than they needed to be. Like, I didn't know. I didn't think they thought they were making a banger with this film. I didn't know if they thought they were going to be like, we're going to blow them out of the water this year. They're like, but we're going to go hard on the art direction. We're going to make this stellar house. These really cool glass traps with like runic etchings. Everything just like looks cool. The ghosts look amazing. Like,
Who's your favorite ghost?
the one that scares me the most is the jackal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think this is just the insane way that he attacks people, and then just the look in the cage. Like, I have the whole. I don't have all their pictures. I just have. I guess it's their runic symbol, and like the whole zodiac here. But so I only wish we got a little bit more. And this is because I know we're going to get a TV show supposedly
Yeah.
that's going to dive into all of these ghosts. So that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, apparently the TV show is going to be, from what I've heard, is 2 episodes per ghost that's going to tell their backstories, that is going to lead to them all being captured in the final episode of the first season.
So is it going to be like a prequel and that's it, or is it going to retell
They
the story of this movie?
they've not said. So from what I've read, they're going to do a couple of episodes per ghost to give their backstory of how they become a ghost and them becoming a ghost. And then the finale is going to be basically them being rounded up and brought to the house.
Yeah.
And then fingers crossed, we get a season 2.
And we get season 2, and then we go into some version of
Yeah, and
this story.
let's make Matthew Lillard the old crazy guy going around catching them now.
Yeah, make him the rich great
Yeah,
uncle.
he he'd pull that off as well quite easily.
Absolutely. I mean, based on how he looked at Five Nights at Freddy's, right? He's sort of getting this nice, sort of rugged,
Yeah,
gentlemanly appearance. So he could definitely do it.
yeah,
But
100%.
the Jackal's up there. The Angry Princess, I think, is great. I think I wanted a little bit more. I'm trying to remember the Pilgrimess. Which one that was? That was just sort of like the old timey looking pilgrims, right?
Yeah, and I think with this movie, they focused on the ones they knew would bring attention. So they focused on the Jackal,
Jackal, the
'cause he's
Juggernaut.
the Juggernaut, and then obviously the Angry Princess because she's got her boobs out. And whether people like it or not, boobs in a horror movie gets people bums in seats. It's fact. It's true.
It's kind of there, like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. But yeah, I like all of the ghosts in this. The Juggernaut, I think, is amazing. My favorite is the Jackal. And again, for the same reason as you, that it's the most unpredictable ghost. And again, they don't dive enough into any of these ghost backstories. We don't get enough.
You can like make assumptions, like the bound woman. I mean, because she's just like sort of like, I'm assuming, tried for witchcraft.
Yeah. Yeah.
The torso murder victim, maybe like firstborn son. I mean, obviously, he died with
Yeah.
a archery accident. Like, you can kind of sort of be like, oh, okay, princess suicide, but like you definitely want like the full story.
Yeah. And I think that desire for more information is probably what drove people to push through the first 20 minutes after the opening act, because the opening scene in this is amazing. And then you get this 20-minute lull where you get a little bit of information about what's going on. But I'm going to be honest, for someone who loves this movie, those 20 minutes, not a lot happens.
I mean, the family is not that great of a unit. Like, they're like, okay, you feel bad. I liked that transition of like when Tony Shalhoub's like looking out the window, and his wife's out there, the kids are out there, and like slowly transitions to their crappy apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you hear the fire and all that. That's great.
Yeah.
You know,
But beyond that, those 20 minutes, it's just, I don't know. There's lots of bad dialogue in this throughout.
yeah,
I love this remake, but from a script perspective, even when you get through into the later scenes, there's very much like, oh no, there's a ghost. It's the script isn't great.
Yeah, what is this? 2001?
Yeah,
Yeah. And at the time too, I always think like they sort of kind of gave the nanny sort of like some stereotypical stuff for like
very
like
stereotypical.
for like a black female character. I'm like, let's zhuzh it up a little bit. Let's make it a little more nuanced. I mean, I like that she essentially saved the day.
Yeah,
I mean, they had that going for the character, right? But yeah, like Tony Shalhoub's very dry for this. I feel like you need a dad, especially if they do this in like a season 2 of that show, right? You need someone who's a little more emotive, right? Because you didn't really get grief from him.
no, you didn't get grief, and I didn't get any care for anyone. Like I didn't go, oh, he really loves his family at any point. I think the way I view his character, the way he comes across, had he been given the option to just go and leave his children to die, it'd have gone great. Where's the exit? I didn't get that. It wouldn't be like if I was there with my kids, I'd be panicked and like, come here, no, stay with me. I'd be like a caring, compassionate father. He's very much like, oh well, never mind. There's a
Yeah.
ghost. It's gonna kill my kid. That'll be all right.
Because he does. I mean, when does he actually realize what's going on? It's
Uh,
like,
it's a long way. Even after Matthew Lillard's pretty much stamped it on his forehead, what's going on, he's still like, "Are you sure?" It, uh,
oh
uh,
man, and the damn kid too. Like, you literally have a ghost being like, "Come on down," and then you hear his mom literally like, "Don't come down there." Like, there's some character moments throughout here that I'm like, and then Shannon Elizabeth just having a time in that bathroom.
yeah, and I love the lawyer as well. Is it the lawyer, the guy who gets like,
Yes, I liked him.
bisected? That kill where he gets the glass screen like side on has got to be one of my favorite kills from any movie of this time. And then you see like
Mhm.
half of him slide down the glass, and it is so and visually this movie's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great looking film, and I think like that sort of like you say kind of gets you through those tough moments, like those rough spots, because it's beautiful to look at.
Yeah, yeah, it's super fun as well, and it's stupid. Like this movie is a stupid movie,
Yeah,
and
it is pretty stupid, but like it's fun stupid.
that's the thing. Like you can have like, had this been cast slightly different, had they taken someone in Lillard's role who was more serious,
Hmm.
or had they put someone in the dad's role who was a little bit more goofy, or had they made the angry princess look more sinister, or like any of those little tweaks would have thrown the whole thing off. It's just everything come together and worked. And if you change one element of it, I think this movie falls apart.
Yeah, yeah. No, you have to if you're gonna go all the way, sort of like with Lillard's performance, everything sort of has to match that in some way. Um, Yeah, no, I think it absolutely works as a puzzle. But I would imagine like this movie would look very different if it was made now. I think like post like because this is very much. I'm trying to think like what else was coming out around this time, right? Oh one, so this was like right after Scream 3,
Yeah.
um, which is so. Oh my god, this is an old movie. Not old, but you don't realize how long like this like it's 23 years now.
Wow. When you say it out loud, all of a sudden I watched this in theaters.
Yeah. Sorry. 23-year-old movie. Damn. But yeah, it's like it's definitely feels like a 2001 movie. Down to sort of the
Yeah,
sensibility, the humor that's in it, the
because
silliness of it, the camp.
this would have been
Um
sort of Final Destination time, wouldn't it? The Final
Finalization was
Destination.
2000, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of got that kind of Final Destination-y vibe to it. It's very I don't know, it's very I'm going to use a word now that makes me sound ancient, but it's very hip for the early 2000s.
It feels like
That's
a music video.
it does. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
actually wonder
That's
if this director did music videos because it
yeah,
has that vibe to it.
that sounded much better than me saying it sounded hip.
Hip. I got you. Yeah, old
Thanks.
man.
But no, it genuinely does. Like everything, like the ghost catching scene at the beginning feels like it's been ripped straight from a music video. That
Yeah,
is like where all the cars are falling and he's catching the goat. Like all of that is great. And this took like that opening segment took so much inspiration from Ghostbusters. It is untrue.
yeah. Just really ramped up Ghostbusters, like the guy getting like pulled through the trunk or the whatever the engine, I think part of it.
Yeah. And what a cool kill that is. Just gets like folded in half and
Yeah,
yanked. And the kills in this all the way through are great.
hands down. But even like, because there's definitely some CGI in this movie, it didn't look that bad.
No,
I'm thinking of like the big gears, the big machine turning. That was definitely CGI. Like when they're in the room with all the ghosts in a circle, all that stuff is, but it didn't look that bad.
no, it all looks pretty good. And the house design, like the house design for this is insanely good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it helps that they built that out. I mean, that was obviously real material. But they had the design, the architecture. It's sort of like why I love the Haunting remake as well. Like the '99 remake is that the mansion looks amazing. Like it's just sort of has like there's a lot of attention to detail in terms of like the house itself.
Yeah, and the haunting house looks amazing. The haunting itself, the casting of that is borderline criminal because it didn't work for me.
Oh, I love the Haunting '99. I
Really?
mean, yeah, I mean, I love the original and I love the TV series. I think it was just I saw it at the right age. I'm a little bit younger. I think I saw it. It was whatever. I was like 9.
Yeah, see, I didn't see the haunting until I was probably 35, 36. And I remember watching the haunting going, why is Lightning McQueen here? Like
Oh,
Owen Wilson. Like all I could hear in my head is he's the voice of Lightning McQueen.
that's so funny. Yeah, no, I saw it like they were all. I mean, like, yeah, Catherine Zeta was just hot on the scene. Like, I saw it like pretty. I didn't see it in theaters, but I saw it pretty much as soon as it hit like HBO. Like, I remember watching it with my mom. This is 13 Ghosts review. This isn't the
Nice.
haunting review, but that. Did you guys cover that one yet?
No, not yet. It was one we discussed off air last time. And Angel
Hmm.
went, I really like that. And I went, I really don't like that. She went, maybe we'll save that.
I would like to sit in on that one.
I think, yeah, all three of us in on that one will be.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about that one. It also just made me fall in love with Lily Taylor.
Yeah.
I think she's just so endearing. But anywho, back to 13 Ghosts.
But back to 13 Ghosts, back to how cool Matthew Lillard is.
Yes. But yeah, no, I think he, as campy as like over the top he is, I mean, he's definitely like the shining spot of the movie. He brings the energy. Where like, yeah, Tony's very flat. Shannon Elizabeth is sort of just doing her thing, Like I said, I sort of was laughing. It was a little bit campy, but she's just sort of feeling herself in the bathroom. She's like, this bathroom is beautiful, and she just kind of almost looked like she was like in a makeup commercial. She's like,
Yeah.
do
and,
it.
and the thing is, like, that is purely there to. This movie was marketed at late teens, early
Yeah,
20s. And when they cast Shannon Elizabeth, that was 100%. We need someone who is a sex icon
right.
right
Which is
now.
American Pie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to cast her, and that's instantly going to bring in this young testosterone filled audience that this movie's kind of geared to, because this is very much geared to a teenage boy. Like I've got 2 teenage boys who have seen 13 Ghosts. This for them is the best movie in the world. They're like, this is so cool. Oh, look, this guy's being insane. Oh my god, there's someone's got their boobs out. It's that kind of it's almost like recapturing that, like what they done with Friday the 13th, but in a more modern way. It's like we're going to show you gore, we're going to show you excitement, we're going to show you boobs, and there's that sort of allure that goes with that for this type of movie that is marketed at a specific dynamic. I don't think this movie is marketed at the masses. I could be wrong, but I don't think it is.
I mean, testosterone fueled teenagers are sort of the go-to horror market, right?
Yeah.
And they drag their girlfriends, or I mean, that's also a very heteronormative thing. I mean, us gays were going to the theaters too to see
Yeah.
it.
100%. And the stupid thing is, most of the girls that got taken to, like, dragged to the cinema by their testosterone filled boyfriends are the ones who are actually the horror fans.
Yeah,
That I think is a fact.
I
And
mean, we know this now. I think horror films today are marketed very. I mean, just look at A24. Look at. I mean, like I think we're in
yeah.
a total. I mean,
Oh,
horror is peak right now, but
yeah. Horror now is completely different to what it was in the
2001 was a
80s.
different.
Yeah, 2001, like the whole
Yeah.
way in the early 2000s, they went back to trying to market horror the same way they did in the mid 80s.
Yes.
They packaged everything up in this. We have this, we have this, we have this. That's what we're bringing you. Whereas now it's a completely different ball game. It's like there's so much more depth to horror now than there ever has been.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the depth you got in things like The Exorcist and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that depth is commonplace in pretty much 90% of horror movies now.
Yeah. They try to elevate the characters into like some way, right? Or it's the story or the themes or there's a little bit more nuance.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're in a horror resurgence now.
Yeah, I think I mean, see what you will with Blumhouse. I mean, they have their hits and misses, but like between Blumhouse, A24, like they really sort of ushered in this new wave. Um, Atomic
Atomic
Mo-
Atomic Monster. That's
Monster with The Conjuring and all that.
yeah, that's James Wan's production
Hmm.
company.
Yeah.
Just merged with Blumhouse.
Oh, right now they just merged, but now
Yeah.
Neon now coming out with Long Legs and Immaculate.
I've got to ask, what do you think of what you've seen of Longlegs so far? Any clue what we're getting?
Oh, I'm very excited. I think Nicolas Cage is going to be the killer.
I kind of think he has to be now.
He
I,
has to be.
I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan. I think he's another one, a little bit like Matthew Lillard. Whatever he does, he fully commits and overcommits. I think Willy's Wonderland is a prime example of that, and Mandy is another prime example of that.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm kind of in for anything he does. Like some stuff he does is trash, but
But he
even if
sprinkles
it,
a little
yeah,
fairy dust on it for
but
himself.
the thing is, he's reached that point in his career now where whatever he does, he's Nicolas Cage in whatever he does. Like he done Renfield, he wasn't Dracula. It was just Nicolas Cage
Just Nicolas.
as Dracula.
Yeah. I mean, hell, they literally made a movie about that very fact.
And that movie is amazing. I can't for the life of me think what it is, but it's Nicolas Cage just playing himself as a
It was the weight of talent or something. The something weight of talent.
yeah, and that movie is so surreal but so cool. I
Oh,
love
him
that
and
film.
Pedro Pascal they're just so good together.
Yeah,
But again, back to 13 Ghosts. I enable tangents to like no end.
yeah, and I do as well. So yeah, Angel, this is all your fault. You were not here to supervise. It's on you.
Sorry, Angel. Yeah, no, this is also a peek inside how my brain works. It's just like everything just firing all at once.
Yeah, mine as well. And I can go off and never come back to the episode. And normally it's Angel sort of going, "Mhm, back now,
Let's get
back,
back.
back to what
That's
we're
my
talking."
inner angel is coming up, be like, get back to the show. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what else to say about 13 Ghosts. I mean, like it's wrapped up a little conveniently. I'll say like that's probably a negative, right? I mean, the nanny just sort of goes ape shit on all the machinery.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's it, done. Everyone's happy.
I wish there was a little more lore in terms of how things ended, right? Like I think what if the show does go in a sort of in a deeper direction, I would love a little more explanation into the runic sort of the spells and all of that stuff. Like have a little more, like get a little more into the witchcraft would be kind of cool. Um, and like sort of that be the folly to the plan.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
think
and
that's how you would tighten the story up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think when they do the series, they need to push the narrative of that kind of explanation. It needs to be explanation driven because this movie, like, if you sat someone down and said, "You need to explain this movie to me," no matter how many times they've watched it, they couldn't explain it beyond, well, they caught some ghosts and they put them in a house and then they attacked a family. Like, there's no deeper meaning than that, and they
Yeah.
don't allude to it either. It's that's
Uh,
is that what makes it good that they don't do that?
uh, I think your answer is in the story itself. Like they literally have like I'm looking at the Zodiac. Like if they were gonna like they have witchcraft in this movie,
Yeah,
right? It's like and you literally have ghosts that are pilgrims and women tried for witchcraft. You have like all of these things where the firstborn son, like you have all this stuff that are just sort of like keystone pieces to like a bigger
yeah, a bigger, y-
picture.
yeah, but they don't touch it.
They
They
don't
just
tie
go,
any of it together. Like you literally have you just like you made the puzzle. You put all the pieces sort of near each other, but you just didn't click them together.
yeah, and I kind of like it for that reason that they didn't. This movie's so ambiguous.
Yeah.
You could make 100 different arguments as to why everything happened. You could tie the cause of this movie to any individual ghost and write your own story as to why they caused it all to happen, or you could tie it to Silas or to Matthew Lillard's character that it was all
Hmm.
them. It's such an ambiguous movie, but it's fun because of that.
I mean, it lets you guess.
Yeah,
I think it's just like I don't need. Yeah, I don't need things spoon fed to me necessarily. But I think that there's subtext, but not enough subtext. I think I just need a couple of more Easter eggs, just a couple of more connecting puzzle pieces.
yeah.
You don't have to do the work for me, but just like have a couple of more clues in there.
Yeah, you don't need to do the work, but just give me a link between A and B, and I'll make up the bit in the middle. Don't give me A and D and leave out that whole.
Right. Or just like a little bit more. Just a
Yeah,
little bit, you know.
I I still like this one. It's still a great remake.
Oh hell, it's fun as all hell. It yeah. If you did not see this one, I mean these are two recommended remakes in a row between this and the Crazies, which we did last time.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, no, I think this if you're a horror fan and you have not seen this, like watch it.
yeah. And if you're a regular viewer to this particular show, two good remakes back to back is unheard of. Like, it doesn't happen. We have a good remake followed by me and Angel going, "Oh, why did we do a series about remakes? What is this? Why are we doing another Black Christmas movie?"
Uh, I can apologize for that middle one. The last one, not so much.
No, I heard a rumor the other day there's another one coming as well.
Hopefully, they learn their lesson.
They won't have.
I still have to watch. You know what I heard is really good though. Last tangent before we wrap up. The My Name is Billy or This is Billy. It's like a YouTube fan film
Okay.
sequel that's supposedly like really good.
Yeah,
Um,
okay. I'll add that to my list because, yeah, there needs to be something else good that's come apart from the original.
well, I think if you go back, you know what? I will save this for another episode. I can't go
Okay.
down this tangent again. Anything about 13 Ghosts before we wrap up?
No, only that it's awesome and Matthew Lillard is great.
And this was right after Scream 3. So like he's only a few years out from Scream. So he was really this was like pinnacle like of his time. I mean he's making a comeback, but this
Yeah,
was like pinnacle Lillard this time period.
yeah, it's great. Go watch it.
Definitely. This was another rental. Unless there's a free one on YouTube for this one too.
No, there wasn't for this. Again, I rented it.
So another renter. But that's okay. It's worth it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again. And I don't know what you have planned for the next one, so I can't tease that.
No, I have no idea. Will Angel be back next time? Maybe. Maybe
Possibly.
not.
Possibly.
Yeah.
If this comes out in March
Yeah.
and it would be April, then she'd be back.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Well, maybe we'll schedule The Haunting, and then we can have all three of us do it. You can do a handover. You can hand it back to her.
I would love that. Please, that is one of my. I can't say it's a top 5 or 10 favorite movie, but oh, maybe it is. I don't know. I
Okay.
will.
We'll make the decision now. So up next is going to be The Haunting.
Up
And
next is The Haunting,
yeah.
1999,
Hey,
starring Catherine Zeta, Owen Wilson, wow, and
Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow.
Lily Taylor. It's Liam Neeson. Like it's great. It's wild. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys real soon.
See you later.